Hello, my name is Mordred Viking and I'd like to welcome you to episode 9 of this Let's Play European Universalis 4. In the 24 custom caster scenario, we are playing as the custom caster of Brancaster. We, in the last episode, mostly just recovered from the series of wars that we were in. We've started to try to manipulate the HRE a little so that we can try and get Montferrat out of office. We want to replace them with Jullich, which we are voting for, and generally people with a positive vote for you will vote in the direction that you are voting. Oh no, they're actually voting for us, but that's fine. We also need to start working on Nice to try and sway them, or Mirtecaster. We are currently fabricating claims and improving on Neumark. We're doing Neumark because we want to annex them, so we're going to have to leave it like that for the time being. We're also starting to look around for who our next target will be. I'd really kind of like to go after Jutcaster. I'm just a little afraid that their total development is so high that they would be a very troublesome vassal to have. Although our current vassals are okay, and thankfully that vassal does not reflect power of the what's it called? Personal union. Personal union is thankfully on a separate counter, and because we are keeping a permanent plus 200 relations with Auscaster, they kind of like us. And an advisor has just died. That's not good. We'll take the unrest guy, I guess, though we don't really need him. He was the only one at that cheap. Okay, so we have claimed Danzig. We could do the Advancement of Religion Act, which is +1 missionary strength for -1 unrest. We don't really have any problems with religion right now, so I don't think that is necessary. What you saw me do there is you can select if you want this notification to appear, and if there's an idea that you're just not interested in having, even though it's still available, you can press this and then the notification goes away. So this is basically saying, fine if it's there, just don't tell me about it. So you can always see when other actions become available, then you can do them. So the Norm Horde still the Guangdong. Whoa. Have almost reached the Middle East. Chi Horde. Chi Horde usually does pretty well over here. They don't seem to have expanded much. Likewise with Horde Kong. So you're seeing a couple more of the other hordes that were previously hidden. So that's most likely because we've heard of some of these Middle Eastern nations. They've heard of Guangdong, so we've now heard of Guangdong. Same as Mongolia, and that's kind of spreading our knowledge over here without actually going to India. Oh, the Lahore. That was the other one. It's actually the nation of Lahore, but it's made into a steppe horde. So I think that's all of them now revealed. It's the 3 here in Europe. Chi Horde, the Horde Kong, and La Horde, plus Num Horde. There are none in Africa. I just added those because I wanted to spice the game up a little, make things a little bit different from how they usually are. Plus, you know, Cossacks added the Horde, so I thought it'd be kind of interesting just to see how they do. I was expecting these two to do more. Like Horde Kong never seems to expand that much, but I think they have expanded in this one. These are a lot of very small territories. It's kind of like Germany. And they're very wealthy too. Very, very wealthy, although these ones up here tend to be wealthier. And Low Horde usually gets wiped out right near the beginning. Oh, Nom Horde spread this way. So Low Horde doesn't actually seem to be doing too badly. We have rebels. Why have we got rebels? We don't have rebels. That was telling me it was rebels, wasn't it? No. Oh well. Can't really complain about not having rebels when you think there's rebels. Okay, so the other thing we can now build is the regimental camp, which allows us to get a higher force limit. It does, however, cost significantly more, so I'm going to concentrate on getting the barracks out first. 187 seems to be the next best choice. Then maybe we need to start thinking about getting some marketplaces here just to completely dominate the trade in this area, though once we have Hamburg, you are another very important centre of trade in the Lübeck node, so we should have a pretty solid grip, especially as we also have Stettin, so we have 3 main trade provinces in Lübeck, except for Sieland, which I think is the other one. Yes, Sieland is actually a really powerful one, +20. Aarhus? Akershus? Whatever it's called? No. So Akershus is an interesting province because it kind of shakes up the Lübeck node because it's the one region in Norway and it's the Norwegian capital usually in vanilla. So even though Norway can usually get about 50% of the trade of the North Sea, because the rest, of course, being owned by Ireland and Scotland. Their home node is Lubeck, so they're still trying to compete, and that's when their really cheap light ships come into play. You can really steal a lot of money from the Hansa and from Denmark, who are usually the dominant powers in Lubeck. Plus, of course, you can pump in trade from North America via the North Sea rather than the usual method through this area. So, the English Channel. War. Jullich versus Bergencaster, Ulm, Cambrai, Limburg, Moribund, and Porcaster is them, right? I was thinking it was Polcaster for a moment there. Yes, I'll accept that. Time for another war. I have a jolly good time at it, too. We don't think we need the forts. We'll send the army over here. Go. We have improved relations with Magdeburg. Good. Oh, and we're at war, so we can't actually annex them again. Conquer Roclaw. That's Plock. It's doable. Moving into Poland here. Improve prestige. That's a difficult one usually because you don't have that much control over it. And get relations with Nordencaster. I don't really want to do any of those right now, so we'll skip it. You can get an idea. How far are we from new technology? 6 years, so we can probably afford to do this, which is the capstone. So we will get the +1 leaders without upkeep, and military tech is 10% cheaper, which is excellent because it's good. 10% cheaper military tech means that we can get more military points for more military development, and of course more military ideas, and keeping up to date with the military technology itself. Cool. So we could untick this, but I think I'm going to keep it because I do want to boost the manpower development. We don't want to go too far. Housecaster should be in this war too. In fact, it's going to be a lot of us versus very few of them. They do, however, have the much larger fleet. So one of the little things I ticked on for my Lubeck fleet is go home at war. So if we are at war, this fleet will just dock up. It does not have the strength to compete with basically any other military or naval power. So they just go and dock and sit the war out, which is fine. They don't really contribute much anyway. And now I'm just sitting back, letting the morale build up before I throw them into the fray. Because my army, it looks like, could be a majorly important force here. So Housecaster has decided to engage against Ulm, so we are going to go and support them because I want some of the war contribution. And actually, I think the contribution created by our vassals and personal unions actually count for us. So you see that war, that battle that Housecaster fought, that contribution was all ours. So currently we are carrying this war, and we are probably going to continue carrying this war, to be quite honest. No, I don't want to go straight into there. I actually want to go to Pfalz. Go to Pfalz, I can. Oh, what? Another war with Jullich. This one against Liège. Help ally. Liège is allied with Cambrai, Hessen, Holcaster, and Francaster. This is becoming something of a world war, Jullich. Go easy. Okay, so we have this attached to unit ticked, so I think Housecaster is coming to join onto us. No, they're not. But we're going to attack the Bergencaster army here in Alsace. Alsace should be grassland, so it's plain. The reason we moved up to Pfalz is because there is a river between these two. So we're going to Pfalz and then down into Alsace, so we're avoiding that river crossing. Our excellent general is still in command. What is our tradition these days? It is 42. Good. We want turn speed down. So in this fight we have 3.7 morale to their 3.5. Wow, their morale's actually pretty good. Yeah, of course, they're one of the custom nations, so it would be. And Bergencaster's armies do tend to be quite strong, because they need it to survive. Not as strong as ours, though. And they do have plus 7.2 from army tradition. We're getting 10.7, so their army tradition's also quite high. We do have more discipline, though, so our tactics is very slightly higher. But our armies are pretty evenly matched, but Housecaster just jumped in, so we massively outnumber them now. Plus, we have way more... No, yeah, we have two more cannons than they do. So the cannon icon, which I wasn't sure about before, is the dot. So this dot here in the back line is artillery. And this is going to be a pretty significant victory, actually. Yes. No, it's only 1.6 war score. Really? That was like large parts of both of our armies clashing there. So we're going to shift consolidate, and we are going to continue to march after them because I'd quite like to destroy them if possible. Where did they go? There's an army up there. Thankfully we do have a lot of manpower in the bank, so we can reinforce our armies pretty effectively. They've gone to Vod, which is also an attackable place. Again, I'm going through Bourgogne. I should not be able to go through Bourgogne. There's a Viking fort there. And Lyonnais. It's just, they're proving to be irrelevant. Both of those should have completely stopped me moving through this area. Should not have been possible. Oh, are they going to merge up? Yes, they are. That's unfortunate. What is this? This is hills. That's acceptable. And you can see here the cross swords. That marks that there will be a battle here. They won't be able to escape in time. And the minus, you can hover over and you can see there's going to be a -1 crossing penalty because we are crossing a river. It's a very useful little thing to have there. Okay, so we did just stack wipe the Cambrian army. Ulm has just separated out from Bergencaster, so we are going to go after them. I should not be able to go through these. Fix it, Paradox. This is bad. Their army is trying to... did just stack wipe, whoever that is. Is Anjou in this fight? Because if they are, then that's unfair. Oh, it is. Okay. Although Anjou have their own war against Provencaster, Islecaster and Aracaster, which is Provencaster, Aracaster and Islecaster. We are marching to engage these guys in Paris. There will be another river crossing there, as you can see. The river crossings are decided by if there are rivers between your two armies, and if the attackers' maneuver is higher than that of the defenders, then there will not be a crossing. And that's also true for straight crossing. So, for example, if you're crossing from Treviso into Venice, if you as the attacker have a higher maneuver than the defender, then you don't get the straight crossing. That's basically saying you managed to cross before they got into position and countered you. So as a defender, you want a high maneuver to stop the attackers getting that. And if it's equal, I think the defender wins. And Auscaster is once again attacking Bergencaster, so we're going to march in, see if we can help them out. Because currently they are outnumbered, and our allies from Württemberg are also coming in. They did reinforce, which probably held the line until we arrived. We do have a -2. Damn it, Auscaster. And this stage of the game is still pretty early, so the width of the battles is quite low. So if you do have large armies coming in to reinforce, they're not always that efficient, because they just get bogged up in the back line without being able to come in to flank. It's just one of those mechanics to disallow huge stacks of doom in the early game. So another victory. Where are you marching to? I should have to go all the way around here. I should not be able to go through their territories. There's 2 forts there. Should not be possible. It annoys me because it seems like such a simple thing, but I'm sure there are all kinds of weird mechanics in the background that mess that up. So we can get plus 15% trade efficiency, which would be nice, or 300 ducats. We are currently losing money because we're having to spend a lot of money on reinforcing. It costs us 8.5 ducats a month currently to reinforce the 1,500 men that join the armies every month. So I think I'm going to take the payment in full, although the long-term investment's usually better because I think you get more money in over that time. And we do make a lot of money from trade, so that would have been nice, but I need the money now. So I don't have to start taking loans, which will of course cost interest. We do not have economic ideas, nor do we have the Stormwind ideas, which reduced the cost of inflation or interest. So, yes. We just defeated Bergencaster again. Where are they marching to? Hainaut. So this one I do have to go all the way around. Bizarre. Wait, oh no. Oh, Francaster didn't join the fight. So it's just us against Liège. They did not call in any of their allies. Really? Liège being these guys. Okay. Alright, so we caught them with really low morale, so we should have a bit of a squish here. Probably won't be a stack wipe, but it's definitely damage. We're going to shift consolidate again. We are shift consolidating rather than just consolidating because we do still have a lot of manpower, so these regiments can eventually reinforce. They do cost us a bit more in the short term, but in the long term we're not having to rebuild the army. Okay, I think they've probably run there. And we almost certainly have the highest contribution in both of these wars, so any money that we make out of it will basically be ours. And Jullich are going to owe us a whole ton of favours. Their territories are being sieged out, so they may not like that. Their war enthusiasm is still high, that's fine. What is this war even over? Bergen-Kasten. Oh, this is a defensive war, but that's usually the attackers, isn't it? No, apparently not. Defenders are on the left, attackers are on the... No. Yeah. Defenders are on the left, attackers are on the right, I guess. I always thought it was the other way around. Okay. So we are defensive in both, so we are definitely going to be owed favours for this. Oh dear, our general just died. Where's our army? Here. We need a new general. He's pretty good, 332. I'll take him. No siege though, which is unfortunate. And we can get another technology. We can get that one, which I think we will. And I think we should start working on economic ideas. Although we haven't had many problems with money in this game, to be fair. So another option is administrative, which gives you cheaper mercenaries, cheaper core creation, which would be nice if we're going to be expansionists, which we are. Cheaper mercenaries, cheaper interest. And then this one, of course, admin tech is cheaper, so we'd have more monarch points in the long term. And goods produced is decent. It's better than production efficiency because it increases the amount of money you get from production, plus it increases the trade value of those goods. So the goods you produce contribute more to your trade center, so you make more money from trade. The other alternative is innovative, which has prestige decay, so you lose less prestige when you have high prestige. Mercenaries are cheaper. Tech costs, there's 5% for everything, not just 10 for one. So like military would then cost us only 15. More advisors. That advisors plus one doesn't increase the number of advisors you can have, but rather that pool that you can select from. So the default is 3. This would allow us to have 4. Reduce inflation cost. That is not over time. That's when you spend admin points to reduce it directly. Less monthly war exhaustion is nice, though we already have some of that because of our aristocratic. So war exhaustion basically would not be an issue if we had innovative. And the leaders without outcoup, admittedly, is actually kind of helpful. And then advisors just cost 25% less, which is huge. I'm thinking innovative, actually. I don't need the mercenary stuff. I don't usually get innovative this early, but it just seems like it's the best option. And we're only 2 ideas away from getting the plus 10 infantry combat, which would be nice. Bergen-Caster is running off to Hainaut again. Oh, who's that? How have you just run? I guess Anjou is not in that war. Consolidate. We only have 12,000 men. You are going to attack them. Are you actually at war with Württemberg? Who's that? Liège. Are you at war with Württemberg? No. So my going there would not actually reinforce you. We'll go here then. What I would like to do is save Cologne, but I really want to destroy the Bergen-Caster army. Where are you going now? Bourgogne. Who are you after? Ah, we caught them. without even meaning to. Here comes Housecaster. Well, having that Housecaster army is actually really nice. Liège has caught the Jullich army down here, so we are going to go and march down. We probably won't be in time to reinforce. No. Oh, we got the defensive, they attacked us. And we have Housecaster here as well. Okay, so that's the Liège army basically dealt with. Stack wipe. Okay, that's Liège out this war. 21 war score. Whoa, I've never seen it that high before. That's huge. Oh well, sucks to be them. We were locked in, so now we are going to march up to Cologne. Come on. No, apparently I can't reach it. Now I can. And we will just siege Cologne back, which should be enough to knock Liège out of this war, I would hope. Jullich is down to medium, but that's because they have forts occupied. They should recover when that's dealt with. The really nice thing for having such high aristocracy, which I was talking about, was the war exhaustion. I thought it was a reduction, wasn't it? Am I just dreaming that they give you a reduction? Oh, it's the cost, so it's the direct cost, never mind. I was dreaming. Our manpower pool is definitely low. In fact, we have now got a deficit. We need 7,000 men, but we only have 5,000 available. Neumark has been fully thingied. We'll maintain you for the time being. Is there anything else I can be claiming at this point? Probably from Plock. Yeah, Roquelaw. Although I know that was one of the missions that we could do. That Bergencaster army is about to be flattened. Holcaster no longer considered us a rival. That's very nice of them, considering we don't have them rivaled either. I think we're probably safe to build another barracks or two. On there. We'll leave 100 over just to pay for this war. We're still at 53% contribution there, and probably even more here. Oh no, only 53. But you can see our vassals have 0, so everything that they do, including Housecaster, does indeed become our contribution. Oh, who's that? Oh, there's the Holcaster army. I was wondering if they were in this war. So Liège has just called in, and that's Bergencaster. Yeah, Liège has just called in their ally. So Holcaster's got a really high war exhaustion. That could be enough to do a lot of damage to us. It's just such a big army. There's the Jullich army, so if they do march on them, then I'm going to have to break this siege and reinforce. Doesn't look like they are though, yet. Anjou has their army over there, but Anjou is not in this war against Liège. It's just us. Morbihan have accepted peace. Morbihan will be forced to give them money. Give money, of which we get 47. Nice. War is profitable, and we have retaken Cologne, which should now make that they are on high. They are. Even though they have a lot of war exhaustion, they are now war enthusiasm is high, so they are more likely to stick with things. We're going to go and flatten this army. And this will be doing wonders for our army tradition. No, it's not really. It's because we keep winning. You don't get much military tradition if you win. So you can see here, this stats. I've never really explained what this means. So this one is how much prestige you get. So you can see the banner. So this is the attackers and that's the defenders and then everyone that contributed. Prestige is how much prestige you get. This is the army tradition you get. So losing battles always gives you more because you've basically learnt from your defeat, while in victory you don't learn much. And then the amount of war exhaustion you've accumulated for the losses you've incurred. So they've taken a lot more war exhaustion than you have, and that's usually, again, you'll get more military tradition, but you also get more war exhaustion because no one likes to lose. I think we'll move like that. Where's the Hullcaster army? I don't like not being able to see it. There it is. You're to Paris. Oh, I can't reach you. And that's the Housecaster army you're about to, yeah, stack wipe. I mean, it's good for me because it's going to reduce their liberty desire to almost nothing. But it's also bad because it means that we, as a whole, have less men. We're going to try and defeat Bergencaster. I really want you to piece them out, please. We're going to struggle to defeat the Hullcaster army. I think I might need to withdraw soon. I'm almost out of men. In fact, the front line, the cavalry ratio to infantry is already poor. Yeah, we're 9,500 short and we have 2,800 still in the bank. I think you're about to lose this, Jullich. I'm sorry. But can you please piece them out? At least then we'd be able to focus on just the one enemy. And bring Anjou in. Okay, that's the Bergencaster army dead. So let's siege down the Bergencaster forts. Yeah, she's got a very big army considering their size. We can't claim Magdeburg anymore. That's annoying. Oh, we don't need to. It's a vassal. Never mind then. This is where our 5 artillery come in handy because we're getting +3 from having more than 4 artillery here. Should only get +2. We don't have 6 artillery. Oh, wait, our ally probably does. Yeah, Württemberg has 1, which brings us to 6,000 artillery. Okay, local fortification expert. We do actually have a castle in Lübeck, so that castle in Lübeck will be even tougher. So you can either gain an advisor, which you'd still have to hire, or you can get the +25 defensiveness for the rest of the game. I'll take the defensiveness. So Bergencaster want out. And I'm guessing as soon as Luxembourg falls, they will go. Oh, we need to deal with them still. Thankfully the Jullich army is rebuilding. But many of their allies are not in this fight. Sorry, in this fight. There we go, taking Luxembourg. What I might do is try and defeat this Liège army again. Especially if they're about to take that fort, which I don't want to let them to do. And I am attacking now because Holland is more likely to stay put here, sorry, Hullcaster, because they're so near to getting this siege done. If that siege were then to end, then they would come in and reinforce, and then we would lose this fight. But as is, we should win it. So Bergencaster has just pieced out. They released Metz to Jullich and Bourgogne to Anjou. So Bergencaster are definitely big hit there. Also 10% of their income is reparations. They pay 98 ducats, of which we get 46, and they get prestige, 12 prestige, of which we get 6, so our prestige has gone up to 31, so again, we are making money out of these, and 21 favours, yeah. That's basically the equivalent of 2 offensive wars. You need to spend 10 favours for an offensive war, or you can spend 5 favours for a increase in trust, which means they're much less likely to break the treaties that their alliance with you. But Jullich already trusts us pretty highly. I think if it's above 50, then they won't break an alliance and they won't rival you. Sorry, they won't rival you if it's above 50. I think is how it works. So we just need to finish this fight. This fight's a bit closer than I'd expected. I'm basically out of manpower now, so Jullich will have to take the... Oh great, we're going to fight here. We are about to be attacked, so Jullich, you would better reinforce us. Yes, you are. Ah, this might actually be decisive, because... Wait, why are we the attacker? We were here. They marched into us, didn't they? Yeah, they did, because we just defeated the previous army. So why did they get the defensive? They shouldn't have. Well, that's messed up. But we have a ton more morale than they do. Because their armies are not as strong as the Bergencaster ones. They're a trading power, they're not a land power. Housecaster must have defensive ideas, which gives them military drill, which is that plus 15% morale there. So Housecaster has taken command of this fight, not us. We're losing a lot of men. But it shouldn't be too hard to knock Holcaster out of this war, just because their war and exhaustion so high. Their enthusiasm's pretty high too. We need to start taking some of their territories, so this is all I'm going to do. If Jullich wants to fight them, they can. So, clergy gains 10 influence, or we lose a ton of money and we gain loyalty and lose influence. I think I'm okay with them to gain influence, to be honest. They only have 28. It's yours. Oh, we don't even have enough men to do this siege. I'm done. I'm withdrawing. I'm not going to lose my entire army to this. Lumberg have declared war on Jutcaster. The one province minor. It's taking on Jutcaster, Munster and Hanover. Though they are bringing in their ally Scania. Okay, fair enough. So Lumberg are about to grow. Which would actually be a good thing, because if Lumberg takes a province or two, then I can vassalize whatever's left. Or I could vassalize the whole lot, though again that's going to be costing a lot in terms of how large they are, Liberty Desire and the like. And don't attach to me anymore. Anyway, that is it for this episode. Please do like and subscribe if you're enjoying this so far. We'll conclude this war against Holcaster and Liège next episode, though we are not probably going to contribute too much because we have lost way too many troops already. We're at negative 13,000 men almost, so our manpower has to recover. I'm pretty sure that our allies can defeat them now because we do outnumber them still. Just. I still have a lot of cannon, so I could siege stuff, but I didn't have enough to take Liège. And if we took Liège, then they have no other forts, so they're likely to make peace from there. Jullich are low enthusiasm. Liège might actually win this one if they manage to take any territories, though once we've recaptured that fort, then we should be okay again. If you have any tips or advice, please do let me know, although this is a pre-recorded episode, so it may be a day or two after you make the comment that I'll actually be able to respond in an episode. Just keep that in mind, but please do keep the comments coming regardless, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.